everybody. How about this? A show at the Sleeping Village here in the Avondale neighborhood celebrating 5 years. Yeah, 5 years. Survived the pandemic. They kicked its butt. They're still here. They have an amazing program here with music, DJs, live events, and a beer program that's second to none here in the city. But one of the coolest aspects, maybe a lot of people don't know, is that the sound design in here is phenomenal. Designed by University of Chicago students, input, the whole thing. I'm going to talk to Brad about this amazing story from the 78 here at Sleeping Village right before a show is about to start. So we're a little behind the scenes, but that's what this piece will be. Gotta love the few hours before a show gets started when you're doing last minute preps, and that's what we're doing here inside Sleeping Village, celebrating 5 years. I'm here with Cortland. How you doing, Cortland? You've been here for the first five, haven't you?
First five.
Congratulations, 5 years though. That's incredible considering more than half of it was during a pandemic.
It is. We hung in there. A lot of local support, neighborhood. Kind of had to piece it together during the pandemic time, selling growlers and doing some patio service, keeping people safe, but distance-wise. But it was great. It was a struggle, but we're here and we're celebrating 5. We're all very excited about it.
Yeah, true Chicago grit, I should say. And you have an amazing beer program. I'm going to talk to Brad about that, but you're more about the venue. I wanted to get your take on it because it is an old post office, among many other things. But a post office is the most maybe recognizable to the people in the neighborhood. But it's been retrofitted, and when I mean retrofitted, you guys have turned this into a music venue, not trying to put a square peg in a round hole type thing. You really redid it from the inside out with the acoustics and just the vibe up front, and it serves a lot of purposes, this whole entire space.
Yeah, absolutely. They really kind of dotted all the I's and crossed the T's as far as the venue space goes, the sound, the quality, the engineers that are freelancing on. Like, everyone knows what they're doing here, and you can tell when you see a show here.
And specifically, you had help from one of the most brightest universities on the planet to help with the acoustics, right?
Yeah, we had an inside player that kind of we know how this is gonna go. This is gonna be good. We'll make it sound great. Yeah, they one of the partners' wives has a background in theater and the structural integrity of venues, essentially.
Sure.
So they had some help, some outside help as well. But yeah, it's very close to everyone's heart. On the ground working it.
And speaking of the ground, even what's going on right behind you, they dropped that down a little bit just to create this nice slope where you can see a show. The subs are underneath the stage. The sound, the booth, or lighting booth isn't in everybody's way where other music venues, where it's almost like it pops up and you can't really see around it. Here, it's designed perfectly where you can see right over it. It doesn't even impede in your impact of the show.
Right. I feel like they paid attention to all the details, like making sure that was the kind of venue that they would want to experience a show at.
So talk about, from the folks who haven't been here before, perhaps when they walk in, when they come through that little corridor to this, talk about that experience and what you want people to really notice when they come in.
Well, first of all, I feel like this place is kind of a Russian doll, if you will. There's something else inside of something larger, inside something larger, and it just keeps going that way. When you walk through the outside, if you're just walking by, you don't know what it is. Kind of obscure, you can't really see in. And then you get in here and you see a multifaceted bar. Huge bar, 56 tap lines, tons of back bar. You've got vast space for hanging out with your friends, booths, if you want a little private adventure. You can see our patio, which I believe
will be beautiful in the summertime, right?
Yeah, it's beautiful. You can bring your dogs in. There might be a dog hanging out before 8. You can hang out with the dog. And then once you get past all that, wow, it's a bar. It's a fully functioning bar. Then you get into the venue, and the music space is kind of tucked in here. You don't notice it or even really hear it from the front bar when you're here. So it's very compartmentalized, but we think
designed so almost.
Exactly. Right? It keeps people enjoying the time they want to have. You can come in and have a nice, quiet date, or meet your friends and play some board games, or just turn up in the front, and you won't even know there's a bar back here. Or you can come party and dance, and you don't have to deal with the front bar. You go out there, grab a drink, or you can pop back here and just have a drink.
Yeah, because there's a nice satellite bar back here as well to keep everybody happy back here. But that front area, though, you can pop in and out of there without having to actually go to the show, right? It's a functioning bar almost every single day.
Almost every day, yeah, except for holidays. We're open 7 days a week if there's programming in the venue or not. we like to keep DJs up front if there's nothing going on in the actual music venue, so there's always going to be some sort of programming. But yeah, it's just a really nice, multifaceted neighborhood bar. And I feel like if I could even name a flaw that I can think of on the top of my head is that there's too many options. There's there's so
It's a
much
good flaw
here.
to have.
It is. It's like there's something for everyone here, essentially. If you
And-
don't, yeah.
Yeah, and the bar itself, the vibe, the decor is like retro, which fits perfectly with the space. I really dig it. From even the bar stools, the bar itself, the vinyl, and then you got these cool projections on the wall that function as the menu or just a billboard for upcoming shows. Pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. They pay very close attention to all of the details of the aesthetic of this place are thought out. They're methodical. Everything they do is like, had they planned it out, kind of looks pretty similar to how it did right when we opened. So it's good. It's like it keeps it simple, clean lines, and take care of it, and everything's going to look good for the next 5, hopefully.
Yeah, and you take pride in keeping it that way. A lot of venues let the venue just kind of become what it becomes, what people do to it. But you take pride in making it look clean, and bands notice that, and they like it because they want to use the facilities. That's a big deal.
Right,
Like
exactly.
this says a lot about a concert venue. So kudos to you guys. Happy 5 years. And I think I'm going to talk to Brad now about your beer selection, because how many taps did you say?
They're 56.
56. So yeah, we got some work to do.
A lot of stuff.
All right. Well, thanks for talking with me, Cortland. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna go find Brad.
Let's do it.
All right. So we're in the front of house now, and I found Brad. And Brad's a good guy to know because Brad knows all the fun things about 56 taps. Is that right?
56, yeah.
That's incredible. So that's a big point of pride for this venue that is Sleeping Village, right?
Absolutely. I have a pretty good history, or a pretty deep history of being in the beer community. Started off beverage directing like over 20 years ago, and have a pretty good base on what to pull in. And having this many drafts actually helps you get to play with a lot of like local, regional, seasonals, and ciders, including mead, wine, cocktails. So we have a really good mix, I would say, of just about anything you would be looking for, and a nice little NA list as well, too, like CBD cider,
Sure, for sure.
and kombucha, cold brew.
I can't believe you said mead. A lot of people don't even know what mead is, but
I know.
It's wine made from bee.
That's
honey,
right, from honey.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite ones that we have on right now is called Viking Blood.
I think I've actually had that.
Yeah, and that's really tasty. And I didn't know how well it was going to be received, to be honest. So I was like, let's get a mead on here and just see what happens. And it actually does very well. We've rotate that line quite a bit, and I was surprised at like how well people have taken to it.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, and just that, and I'm sure that there's probably a little pressure to represent the city that you were in here in Chicago. There's a lot of breweries here, but you also have breweries, from the specific one that you poured me earlier. What was that one? Because that one was incredible,
So-
and the process of their brewing is even.
One of my favorite breweries in the country right now is OEC, and they're out of Connecticut. And they do like old world brewing and mix that in with like new concepts and aging in granites for some of their wild ales. But they just do some of the neatest brewing techniques
And cool
shipping
Yeah.
of this lager, which on right now it's called Helles Special. It's a winter Helles, and you can taste the grain all the way through. The finish is beautiful. They do an open fermentation for 9 days after they do a little short time in cool shipping. And that's just one of the things that we feature here in our rotation of not just local,
Right.
because we definitely want to have some local stuff on, but some interesting things to try nationally. And also outside of the U.S., I like to focus on German, original, classic seasonals, especially with Germans. One of the treats that I got to have this year was a Course and Dunk Christmas Ale, which happened to be one of my first experiences with a Belgian Christmas beer. And I was able to get that on draft this year, along with St. Bernardus Christmas, the Stilnock, which is fantastic from the Mad Brewers of Belgium, is De Dole, and also a German Doppelbock called Semiklaus that comes out every year, December 6th. And it used to be historically the strongest beer in the world.
No kidding.
Like times have changed quite a bit since
Sure.
We've taken over this craft beer ruling it, I would say, in the
Yeah.
U.S. these days. So yeah, and like aside from the like a lot of things that I rotate here, or we rotate, is I always have a Reisdorf Kolschan. I think it's an exceptional product, very clean, something to do a palate cleanse with it perhaps, or just want to keep things on the light side, but it's a classic, and I know that a lot of American breweries aim to get to that kind of
Yeah, for
cleanliness
sure.
and quality and the finish on that
And
kind of beer.
it speaks a lot to what you guys are doing here. You know, you are in the neighborhood. You're in Avondale, right on Belmont Avenue here.
Yes.
But your beer program is like second to none. It's outstanding. But you still maintain this neighborhood bar vibe where people can come in. Everybody
Absolutely.
knows your name type of place. It's very cool. The space in here, even in the front, is all acoustically sound. Like they really didn't. I was just so impressed by that, just because that is such an overlooked thing, surprisingly, for music
Yeah.
venues. But it's done. Everything is clean lines. You got the retro vibe. I like the stuff on the walls with the menu and everything else. Really, it's a very cool place. Cool vibe.
Oh, thank you. Well, we definitely want people to be comfortable in here and educate them on trying and experiencing new things on draft that they might not have had that you can get from a lot of places in the city. Like we have a really decent sour program and cider program, which we're excited about, the Chicago Cider Week that we're going to be launching next week, and doing a collaboration with Eris, which also is going to be exciting, and they're a local cidery that we absolutely love and did a partnership to raise some money for Civil.
Yeah, which is huge. I mean, I've done a lot of stories with Civil where it just kind of keeps the music community rolling here in Chicago. If for people want to know about any artists you have coming up here, or just more information about the space that is Sleeping Village, what's the best way for them to go about doing that?
I would definitely go to our website, which is sleepingvillage.com and sleeping-village, and check us out. All our information's up there. All the artists that are coming through are listed. We have our menus up constantly, which is always in rotation. And then just come in, and it's really casual, and there's no pressure on, like, we're not trying to be like any snooty beer bar of any sort. We just want you to come and experience
Come and have a good time.
and enjoy it, and its proper vessel, hopefully.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. It goes a long way. A lot of people don't know that,
absolutely.
but it definitely does. Brad, it's been a pleasure talking with
You
you.
as well,
Thank you
thank
very
you.
much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Yeah. All right, there you have it. That's a story here in Avondale at the Sleeping Village. That's that fancy bar menu right there. Isn't that pretty cool? TomBarneyChicago@gmail.com. If you have a suggestion for a story from the 78, or head over to the website storiesfromthe78.com. Let's go see a show.